Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, today I'm going to be talking about a wide range of subjects, and hopefully, my brother will be able to join. He should be joining shortly, and we're going to have a great discussion. One of the things that I want to talk about is that tragedy in Buffalo, and I want to talk about issues surrounding that. I had some interesting debates on my TikTok page about this situation, and I want to share my thoughts. And I'm also really interested in hearing what my brother's thoughts are about these particular issues. I may talk about that. I'm going to definitely talk about Buffalo. I want to also talk about some other key subjects as well. There are a lot of things going on. Uh, One of the things that I may talk about is the whole Roe versus Wade situation. I'm sure you all have heard the news that a draft decision was leaked to the public, and basically the Supreme Court is poised to get rid of Roe v. Wade, and that will leave it up to the states whether or not to allow people to legally get abortions. Um, so I plan to talk about that as well. We plan to discuss that, the issues around, a woman's right to choose, etc. So I'm just waiting for my brother to come on. Oh, I think he's here. I see. Let me see if I can invite him. Let's see. Let me see. How do I? Yeah. So, Steph, you can let me know how do I invite you to the discussion. You can leave a comment, just letting me know. Oh, let's see. Invite. So let me do it this way. Just bear with me a second. I'm just trying to figure out this thing. Trying to invite my brother to join the discussion. So, Esther, if you can leave a comment, just letting me know how do I invite you to join. I may actually have to go off and then call him to figure this out. Let's see. I don't see you on this list of people that I can invite. Oh, you don't know how to do it. Oh man. All right. Let's see. Let me see if I press co-host. It has these suggested hosts, but I don't even know these people. So y'all gotta bear with me a second. Oh, I gotta turn on my notification. Oh, okay. So it says allow invites. Oh, I see. I just invited you. So hopefully you can join. Did you get the invite? Oh, there you go. Okay, your face. You're able to show your face and everything. That's what's up, man.
What's up, big bro? You all right, man?
Yeah, man. I'm glad you could join. So there's a lot of stuff going on, man. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is Buffalo. I saw a couple of your videos about that situation in Buffalo, but I wanted to hear your take. Like, what do you think about the situation? How do you think Black people should respond to incidents like that, or to deal with the issue of these white supremacist terrorists and stuff?
Well, normally I would say don't fight fire with fire, right? But it's time for us to start forming militias the same way that they do, and gun clubs the same way that they do. And I'm not talking about any of these foolish gangbangers or whatever, you know what I'm saying, dope boys and all of this stuff with their guns or whatever, but I'm talking about something that's logical, rational, well put together. Um, and where people actually know how to shoot. And I'm saying like this is that we just need to be prepared because but then at the same time, I mean, it's kind of like a two-edged sword because at the same time, I feel like these extremist groups are trying to prompt certain reactions because they have this idea that we're gonna have some kind of race war or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a bad situation, but I mean, other than gun control, right? What can really be done? You know what I'm saying? Except us being prepared. Now this gonna sound crazy, man, but all right, one guy with an AR-15 could actually get shut down by 30 fearless men. So
Mm.
my thing is this is that what I learned in the FOI is you got to be prepared to give your life in defense of the people. And if you're a warrior, you can't be ducking and hiding behind the damn eggs. Tackle this white boy. Take him down. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
know that sounds ridiculous, but hey man, if it was me, you, and you know what I'm saying, if some guy came up trying to get live and they was trying to get to mom, I'm not running behind no damn bushes.
That's right.
You gonna have to take my last breath, brother, before you do something to those that I love and care about. And if and as crazy as it sounds, we can have heart to go fire up some other brother, or go slide on this guy, do all this kind of crazy stuff. But we gotta also have heart to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like we see something visibly crazy going on to address that. You know what I'm saying? But I
Right.
mean, you know, I saw you know, I made my little video and some people were commenting like, "Yeah, we gotta fight fire with fire," and I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? Do you understand where we live at? Where we're at? You know what I'm saying? We're outnumbered. We're disorganized and not united. What kind of what kind of battle we gonna put forward with this man? You know what I'm saying? Well, we
Hmm.
can't hardly get over the fact you from Baltimore and so from DC, or you from the east side of Detroit, my man from 2 blocks over. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? We got to get logical. And then all of these pseudo revolutionaries don't talk revolution unless you ready to eat rats in the streets, baby. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what the
I
last poet said.
Yeah, yes sir, brother. You know what I'm saying? But that I mean, that's my take on it. Now, I mean, I've been following, man. So you know what I'm saying, big bro? I just got to bring this up, man. That clown that was talking about you a sellout.
Yeah, we
You
got to
know?
talk. We'll talk about that next. Like, I
Okay,
really want
okay,
to get into that. Yeah, I was having a
okay.
discussion with somebody about that in a sec, uh, right before we got on, and I'm like, yeah, I got to talk about that, man. But yeah, so the first thing, like you were talking about the need to, defend ourselves, and basically you were saying like how, the FOI basically taught people to be prepared to die and to, fight and defend themselves, even if that means you just rush somebody that has a gun and try to take them down and stuff like that. Uh, and one of the things that came out about this whole story is that one of the security guards actually fired shots at this guy,
Hmm.
but because he had that tactical gear on, it didn't harm the shots didn't harm him, and he was able to take that security guard's life. But because that security guard stepped up and was willing to sacrifice himself, he
Hmm.
saved many people's lives. He was able to slow down that gunman. And one of the things that was crazy about this is that this gunman actually, I saw like a little clip of the video of the
Hmm.
shooting. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw the segment where he points his gun at this white guy who's like
Hmm.
cowering
Hmm.
on the ground, and then he sees that it's a white guy, and he's like, "I'm sorry," and then he
Hmm.
proceeds to, go in the other direction and continue to shoot people and stuff like that. And it's just a horrible tragedy, man. It's like, just, I mean, part of me has been on edge since this has happened. Like, I'm like, who knows when this can happen again? Like, it could happen somewhere else. There could be another person inspired by this guy. Like, as I went into the supermarket the other day, I thought about those people in Buffalo. And it really makes me feel uneasy, and it makes me really want to be about self defense, like really want to, purchase firearms myself and, legally, of course, like follow the law, of course, but purchase a weapon to defend myself in my house. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, that's one of the things that I thought about, like what you were saying about like militias. Like I really think that that's a valid point because, you hear a lot of this rhetoric, militant pro-black rhetoric and stuff like that. But right now, like if some kind of racial catastrophe or racial war took place, like black people in America would be finished. Like we're not trained to survive. We're not training on how to use these weapons. Even these so-called thugs that people like to glorify and celebrate, they don't even know how to use weapons properly a lot of times. They're shooting innocent people, they're missing their targets and all that kind of stuff. And that's going to get us into that next conversation. I want to talk
Hmm.
about like the gangster and them compared to the Klan in a second, man. But when I see this kind of stuff, I'm like, where are the soldiers at, man? Where are the people that are ready to defend the black community? Like you had it in the Black Panthers, and we saw what happened to the Black Panther Party. They were wiped out. Leaders were assassinated, people were killed, and all that kind of stuff. And we heard the cry, for instance, of the Nation of Islam. They talked about, justice or else, like that was a rallying cry. And I'm like, where is the or else? It's been all these years and all these people are getting killed. So I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts about that real quick because the nation, they have a military, paramilitary type structure, even though they
Hmm.
don't use weapons or anything like that. But the
Hmm.
way, like I heard that speech from the minister, like years ago, where he was talking about he needs 10,000 fearless black men that are basically willing to go all out. But you've had all these tragedies take place, and you don't see any action. Oh, are you still there? Yeah, yeah, you there? Astaire, are you still there? I see you're frozen. So hopefully Astaire will be able to join back. Um, but yeah, we're having a discussion about Buffalo and everything. Astaire, if you're speaking right now, I can't hear you. Okay, so hopefully his internet will be restored. Okay, he should be uh, getting back on in a second. He went offline for a second. But yeah, so we're talking about the situation in Buffalo. We're talking about the need to, um, let me invite him again. Okay, I just sent the invite, so hopefully he'll rejoin.
All
Okay,
right,
there you
Ken.
go.
Okay, so
Yeah,
all
so
right,
what's your response to that, man? What do you think about
all
all
right,
that?
so all right. I'm gonna answer your question. Bear with me though, big bro. So if
Yeah.
I was the oppressor, all right, I would want somebody. I would want controlled revolutionaries. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
I would
Break
want
it down.
controlled. I would want
Break it
controlled
down.
revolutionaries. I would want somebody who was a Mobutu. You understand what I'm saying? Because Mobutu's persona that he portrayed was as if he was a Pan Africanist and as if he was a force of cultural revolution. Pro Africa, wear the Africa on your hat and all of this kind of stuff. But all along, he was the agent of the West, working to continue the paradigm set forth by King Leopold, without the cutting off of hands, of course. But I'm talking about the exploitation of the resources and the kleptocracy. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
I say all of that just to say is that when you hear some of this hollow rhetoric, justice or else, I need 10,000 fearless men. Get the hell out of here with respect, because in reality, the or else was the mothership, the mother plane, the wheel. And it's like, it's with all love and respect, but get them riled up, but then get them back in control. Because if you listen to the justice or else speech, it was damn near like the Bill Cosby speech when he was telling people to pull up their pants and get an education
Mm.
and so forth. That we don't need that kind of hollow rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Now, uh, you want to hear something practical? It's I take the city of Detroit in 149 square miles. There are 4,500 churches within this that small area. If each church formed a gun club and had a dedication to a community ministry where the older guys or the unemployed men patrol the neighborhoods, Detroit would be safe as hell.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's the kind of stuff that we need. So all of this justice or else and all of that, I mean, I feel that. If you ask me, the 10,000 men comment was really um, a membership drive for the Nation of Islam.
Mm.
Let's recapture that drive, that determination that we had in 1995 for the Million Man March. Get the
Mm-hmm.
people worked up, then bring them here. Don't present a concrete agenda, but start talking all of this numerology and all of this way out stuff that's deep and profound, but has no effect to your reality on the ground. And
Mm.
that's no different than all of that, all of the accusations against the spooked out, ignorant Negro preacher. We don't need that no more. We
Mm.
don't need that. Now I ain't mad at that, and I could go all into the theology and so forth of the nation, but that's not the point. The point is we need something practical, that's actionable, measurable, and realistic.
Mm.
Period. So
Right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I hear you, man. Yeah, but I think what you're saying is, on point and stuff like that, man. Like we do need to form. Like there's nothing. First of all, like there's nothing really crazy or extreme about Black people forming gun clubs and Black people learning how to defend themselves. It's common sense. Every nation has a military to defend that nation. Otherwise, the nation is taken over easily by outsiders and by enemies. That's the role of a community, to defend themselves, protect themselves, and to promote their interests. I mean, that's just basic. But we have been so programmed to think that there's something crazy about people defending themselves. I mean, the same people that will say, well, you shouldn't have arms to defend yourselves, they are the same people that celebrate the military. They are the same people that celebrate the police and all that kind of stuff. It is time for Black people to defend themselves. And that's nothing, that's just common sense. We need to like stop being the lamb led to the slaughter, man, because that's what has happened too often. With Dylan
amen.
Roof going into that church, slaughtering all those people, like that is crazy that was able to happen. And then the other thing that I want to touch on real quick is just like how the police deal with these mass murderers. And this is something that I touched on in my video here on TikTok and YouTube, and that's something that a lot of people have been talking about, is just like the way the police handle these mass murderers, these white mass murderers in particular. Somehow they manage to peacefully arrest these people. Somehow they're able to negotiate a peaceful arrest in these situations where you had white men in particular kill large numbers of people, both in general, general mass murders, and even, these racist terrorist type of acts. Somehow they're able to peacefully arrest these people, like Dylan Roof. There are reports that they gave him some hamburgers and all that kind of stuff. On the other hand, when it comes to Black people, these police have a shoot and first and ask questions later type of policy. They have a judge, jury, and executioner type of mentality when it comes to Black people, like the situation involving Tamir Rice. A 12-year-old Black boy playing at a park with a toy gun. The police arrive, and within seconds, they take that brother's life. And we saw what happened to Eric Garner, a brother who was accused of selling illegal cigarettes on the street. And because of that, that brother ends up being choked to death. We saw
But
what
see, that's
happened with Walter Scott. The last example was Walter Scott, a brother who was stopped for a broken tail light, and he ends up getting shot in the back by a police officer multiple times over that. If they can peacefully arrest these mass murderers, then they should be able to peacefully arrest Black people.
Man, so human culture is defined as like the software of the mind. It defines how you see life. And unfortunately, the culture of this society, this civilization says that you and I are strong as an ox and dangerous. And though both educated black men, and they're thinking we just a stone's throw away from becoming damn King Kong. So when
Mm-hmm.
they encounter us, you see me, I know I work out and all this, but I'm a little fella, you know that. I had my arm yanked off the socket by the Atlanta Police Department. And at that time, I weighed 135 pounds. This man
Mm-hmm.
had my arm behind my back. My knuckles were touching the back of my neck, lifting me up in the air by my forearm. I'm telling you, these people see you as a threat. So when they see little Dylan Roof or McCoy the killer that went into the grocery store, they see a semblance of humanity. But in you and
Mm-hmm.
I, they see a shaved gorilla
That's right. Yeah.
that's on the verge of snapping and doing something dangerous. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is like this is that, as crazy as it sounds, brother, if you really want to arrest that perception of us, what we have to do is change a couple of these commonly embraced and celebrated archetypes of black manhood. And and the one that I say it, and I ain't even on no ill stuff, but hey, I say this from going to the gym. These white guys, you know what I'm saying? They some ball watchers. You know what I'm saying? And if you get my drift. So if they're working with this perception that you are this this horse hung gorilla that's just a stone's throw away from snapping. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, hey, he's a deviant. He's crazy. If we start
Mm-hmm.
arresting that foolishness, cutting that social perception of us, we'll start to see ourselves become more value. And then there's always that other option. We could have an initiative in our community where everybody gets a life insurance policy. That'll cut out all of this stuff because the
Mm-hmm.
stock market is fueled by insurance companies. Where you think your money you paying into your insurance really goes? It goes to the stock market. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if it was all of this, all these 800 deaths in Chicago, and all of them boys had life insurance, and it was all of these unarmed black men that had life insurance, and they're paying out millions of dollars annually. I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. You'll start seeing some policies put in place to affect real change
Mm-hmm.
because those insurance companies have a lobbying ability. See, one love to all of our organizations, but none of our organizations have the true ability to affect politics because we ain't got the dollars to put behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So get that foolishness out the window of this mystery of the power of the black dollar. The power of the black dollar truly accounts for less than 5% of the gross domestic product of the United States of America. That is a drop in the bucket, and it's a negligible amount. But these insurance companies, you get you an insurance company that's gonna pay out the family 10 times your annual wage. Let something happen to you, they're gonna be talking about autopsies and what the hell happened because they're gonna be trying not to pay out that money. And you
Mm-hmm.
got to speak the language of this beast. This beast don't care about no religion. This beast don't care about no humanity. This beast don't care about no nationality and cultural identities. This beast care about dollars. So
Mm-hmm.
you talk this language to that beast, and he'll wake up and snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mark my words. Word is bond on
Those,
that black man.
yeah, those are some great points, man. So the other thing I wanted to ask you about is like gun control because this guy had like military style weapons. He was only 18 years old. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my question is like, how did he get access to these weapons? Like, I need to read more about the case. Like, but I'm wondering like, how did this
You
18
can
year
buy
old?
you can buy an AR-15 at 18.
Yeah, and that's why the laws need to be changed. Like, because first of all, with this guy, like there were reports about him. Like, some reports about he did some kind of like school report about murder, suicide, and all that kind of stuff. And so that raised alarm bells, and there was some investigation, and nothing came of it. And because of that, this guy was able to carry out this murder. But this mass murder, this slaughter, this massacre, and stuff like that, when they could have stopped him. And it's like, how is it that somebody with these kind of issues, somebody that's disturbed, is able to get these types of weapons, military style weapons, that are able to take many lives? How is that possible? How is it that he was able to get the kind of equipment to make this weapon an automatic weapon? And how is it that an 18-year-old is able to purchase this kind of tactical gear to protect himself from gunshots and stuff like that? Something has to be done about these gun control laws. And I believe in the right to bear arms and stuff like that. I defend that. But at some point, you have to have some kind of reasonable restrictions. There's no reason why an 18-year-old should have military style weapons. And it seems like I've said before, like it seems like the politicians simply don't have the will to enact reasonable gun control laws, because we saw what happened with that slaughter, like years ago. And this was when Obama was the president. I think it's Sandy Hook or something to that
Yeah,
effect. An
yeah.
elementary school where this
Hmm.
killer went in there and killed the babies, man, killed the kids. And even after that, these politicians didn't act.
Well,
After
see,
Even
see,
after some
man.
congressmen were shot by some killers and stuff like that, they still didn't enact any kind of changes. So yeah, so tell me what you think, man.
Well, see, well, first thing is, as far as it relates to being able to buy tactical gear, right? So let me back up. His parents probably bought him all of that shit. His parents probably bought all of that stuff for him. In their community, they get guns and stuff like that. Rifles for Christmas. I had a colleague tell me, his sons are like 7, and he's teaching them how to shoot right now.
Mm.
So my thing is this: is that, see, what it is the politicians are afraid of these gun nut conspiracy theorists. And what's fueling a lot of this stuff are these absurd conspiracies about the New World Order, and they're going to confiscate all of the guns, and then there's also this book um, that I forget. I think it's called the Turner Diaries or something like that. You
Right,
ever
yeah,
heard of
that's the
that book?
book that inspired. That book inspired that Oklahoma City bombing that took place, like back when Clinton was president. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah.
familiar with it.
But so now, to understand the mind of these people, you got to read those kind of books. And then you also have to look at these fundamentalist Christian groups that have all of these nut job conspiracies about the Antichrist and the New World Order and the guns and blah 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 and this and that. But then the other thing is, have you ever taken a CPL class, Answer?
What class?
One of those classes for the gun to learn how to shoot and
No,
this and that.
I never learned how to use a gun. I've held a gun before, but I never like fired
You never
anything.
shot a you never shot a gun?
No, I never. I need to learn. That's one of the
Uh,
things that I want to do. Like in light of these things,
oh
it's
man.
actually like a few years ago, like when this incident happened. And I could talk to you about it offline and stuff. But an
Yeah.
incident happened, and I was like, I need to have a weapon. Uh, and there are a couple of reasons why I didn't buy one, but that's one of my priorities, like to learn how to use a firearm. But what were you saying about the lessons, though?
Well, first off, the class is just it's a real run through thing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go, you sit there and listen to this BS, look at the little videos, the little ex police officer, or the tactical guy sits up there and he goes off on this tangent. And then y'all go to the shooting range, and then you get the certificate, and then you apply to the state. Boom. It's easier to apply for a job than it is. I mean, it's easier to get a CPL type of deal than it is a driver's license, man. And the thing that I'm saying is, it's like, I think that there should be some psychological evaluations that go
Right.
along with this stuff, right? But the issue is, again, these gun nuts and these people that are so gone off these conspiracies. And it's like, listen, man. This is what I'm saying to anybody. People talking about you had a right to bear arms in case the government gets out of control. All right, here's the fact. I don't care if this room right here was filled up with AR-15s. If a battalion of Marines are deployed to this area, the little guns that I can amass here are not going to hold back the might of the U.S. Marines. Okay? You know what I'm saying? They come down the street in one of them tanks, maybe in a Bradley fighting vehicle, man, with that 50 cal that's leaving holes like a record. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my little pea shooters don't mean a damn thing. You know what I'm
Yeah, man,
saying?
that's some real talk. And then, like, if you look with the drones and stuff, like the drone technology, I mean, it's like,
Man, this
yeah,
man got planes that could drop bombs that by the time you hear the plane, the bomb then already exploded. You know what I'm
yeah, it's
saying?
like,
So
yeah, I mean, it's like they could just take you out like a video game, like they just chilling in some room like miles away, just like watching you on the screen, and they could just drop bombs on
right,
you.
it's like playing Call of Duty or something. So
Yeah,
it's like it's like, to me, man, my thing with this shooter is it's like, you know what, really, I think that as a believing person, I believe that in any and every disappointment, there's a lesson to be learned and something that's happened in that this designed to bring out something in you for your good. And one thing that we could use this example for is while we sitting up here talking about damn Kevin Samuels and a high value man
oh yeah,
and
that's another thing. Yeah,
the
we're gonna
damn
touch on that.
diaspora wars and all of this foolishness and the gals showing off that lovely posterior with the busset challenge and all of this stuff. Maybe we can snap out of it and be reminded of how this man really see us and what
Mm,
they're capable of doing. I mean, if one was to really logically look at the last almost 60 years in European Western history in this hemisphere, it's more of an accident than it is the norm. You understand what I'm saying? Most of the time that the European has been on this soil, on this side of the planet, we have been at the bottom. So
mm,
human culture develops within the context of necessity, right? So their long cultural history of being here, we was not human beings to them. You know what I'm saying? In this last 60 years, I think that their culture tells them one thing, but their laws tell them something else. So it's like you got this clash against the laws because their cultural programming is telling them something totally different. So it's like, yeah, I see this black man is submitted. He's in handcuffs. He's not resisting. But their cultural programming says is this gorilla is dangerous. I'm about to
mm,
slam him on the ground and put my elbow in his back and lift up
mm.
his arms and try to break him because this monster can get out of control at any minute. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the rest of them around will agree.
Yeah, I
You know
just
what I'm
saw
saying?
this
So
video footage of this guy. Like he was, like it was another one of these police shootings. I can't
I
remember where
saw it.
it was, but the guy had his hands up and everything, and they shot him. They still shot him, and now the police have been charged with first degree manslaughter. But it's like you see it time and time again. But yeah, man, another thing I wanted to talk to you about dealing with this shooting is like this whole replacement theory. I don't know if you familiar with that. Like that was one of his motivations. What do you think about that, man? And like the
The
fact
replace
that mainstream Republicans promote that idea, like with this anti-immigrant mentality, a part of that is rooted in this fear of being replaced by non-white people. So what do you think about all that? Like you have people like Tucker Carlson on Fox News promoting this theory and regularly promoting, and that's not some you know extreme, like some fringe extreme type of uh, outlet. That's a mainstream outlet, even though it's a right wing outlet.
Mhm.
Millions of people watch it, and millions of people follow Fox News and what they're talking about.
Man, I mean, listen, man, well, first thing is that we need to start talking about the fact of the matter that they're afraid of becoming the minority because their strength in this hemisphere has been the fact that there were more of them than everybody else and they had more weapons. and their women aren't having children like our women are having children, and they're running to other people. And I'm not one of these, pseudo race guys and one drop makes you black and all of this kind of stuff. Um, I mean, to me, it's a shame that Tucker Carlson even has a platform and an audience that is receptive to what he's talking about. And that should be a wake up
Right.
call to us.
Hmm.
Um, my thing is this is that see, this is why black nationalism and Pan Africanism are important. I don't think that it's either integration or black nationalism. I think it's both and. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I mean, I don't know, man, but if see, the FOI part of me wants to say, well, get rid of this beast. Good riddance. It's time. His time is up, brother. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's not reality. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is that, man, I mean, if I understand the replacement theory, it's basically the fact that within the next 20 years or so, they're going to be the minority of the country, right?
Right, yeah, that's part of it. And then like they actually like the funny thing is like they have their whole theory is anti-Semitic. So basically they believe that Jews are plotting to replace them through immigration policy by basically opening the borders so all these non-black people, I mean non-white people can come into this country. The other thing is they believe that these the Jews are promoting interracial relationships to, basically genetically annihilate white people. And they believe that ultimately they will resort to violence to replace, um, white people. And one thing that I mentioned, like in one of my videos, I talked about how during that Charlottesville riot, that
Mm-hmm.
protest, they were chanting, "Jews will not replace us." Like when they
Mm-hmm.
were walking with those torches, that's what they were chanting. Those people there believed in that replacement theory, and Donald Trump is the one that said those are some very fine people
Mm-hmm.
participating in that stuff, man. So that's the most frightening thing, that you have these mainstream people fueling this fire of hatred that we see in this horrific example out of Buffalo, man. It's just crazy.
But see, here's my thing: is like only reason we're saying Trump is so horrible is because we grew up in the last 60 years.
All
Trump
right, I'll be right
is
back. You can still talk. I'll be listening. I gotta grab something to
hey,
eat.
sit down, sit down.
I'll be right back.
Nah,
I'll be right back.
but nah,
I can hear
you
you.
know what I'm saying? Hey, but no, man, like real talk, man. The fact of the matter, man, is that, what I'm saying? Trump, worse things happened to us under FDR than Trump. You know what I'm saying? Worse things happened to us under Woodrow Wilson and Calvin Coolidge than under Trump. I'm not surprised at nothing that these people say.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Elmina. You saw how they shipped us like damn gym shoes or tires. These
Mm-hmm.
people are capable of anything.
Right.
We didn't
That's,
just got too comfortable with a nice bed in the basement of Massa's house. And we
mm,
ain't thought we didn't forgotten that Massa's real place for us is out in the garage and on that damn cotton field picking that cotton. And we
mm,
didn't thought that we are part of the house. Now,
mm,
my thing is that this honor what the hell, like Dr. King said, honor what you said on paper, but at the same time, like my brother Malcolm said, kittens born in the oven will never be biscuits. And I think
mm,
that it's real important that we keep both of those perspectives. Because you take the jewels from this man and you go back and enrich your own. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like the scripture says, and Moses was learned in all of the ways of Pharaoh. Learn Pharaoh's stuff, but go back to the people to empower them so that you can go back to Pharaoh as a strong force and say, let my people go. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is this is like, man, you know, um, all I can say is this, man, is that as far as it relates to replacement theory and all of this kind of stuff, man, these people are always going to make up reasons to be afraid of us and have they're going to keep their people in control by vilifying us or vilifying this group or that
Mm.
group. And it's like, here's the crazy part about it: the African immigrants, the ADOS and FBA and all of that kind of stuff. It works right into that same agenda, doesn't it? Doesn't that stuff work
Absolutely,
right
man.
into? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
just like it
absolutely.
worked.
Because that's what I mean. That's a great point that you bring up because the ADOS people, they actually believe that black immigrants are replacing African Americans. You know, they actually talk like that. They actually run with a lot of these anti-immigrant talking points, and really, what they're doing is playing into the hands of white supremacists. They are dividing black people, and they're too ignorant to realize this. You know, they're too ignorant to realize that they are promoting divide and conquer of black people. The same is true for these people that say they're not African, that say they're some aboriginals and all this and that, or there's some Hebrews. It's like the last poet said, we love everyone but ourselves, man. It's like we want to be everything but ourselves. Like people would rather claim to be some alien from another planet, as Dr. Umar Johnson pointed out, than to claim their African identity because of this self-hatred, man. And it's just really sad, man, that we had this division, especially in light of horrific incidents like this, like
Uh-oh, your voice went out. Where you at, man? Can
yeah,
you
because
hear
like
me?
for instance, like yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I had some call coming in, but yeah, like for instance, like when these
Okay.
police stop black people, they're not like asking if you're from Africa or from the Caribbean or or you're African American. They just see the N word. That's what they see, and that's how they treat him. Like that brother Patrick Laoya, they just shot that brother in the back. They didn't ask him if he was from Africa or if he was from the Congo or from one of the islands or anything like that. The same is true for Botham John when when that woman went into his house and shot and killed him. She didn't ask if he
Mm-hmm.
was from the islands
Mm-hmm.
or if he had an education. And this was an educated brother, from an immigrant family from the islands. They didn't make that kind of distinction. But here, the
Mm-hmm.
ignorant Negro is fighting over who's from where, like who has whatever, uh, you know, uh, inheritance or whatever. It's just idiotic, man. The things that we fight about, man, in the light of what we face, the problems that we face. Um, but
Hey,
yeah, I
hey,
just
now
had to touch on that, man.
you remember back in 2016, and I'm gonna run with this until my face is green. In 2016, the focus of the Trump Justice Department was black identity extremists. Since that time, uh, listen, these movements been around. The Hebrew movement been around for 100 years, roughly, right? So is this Aboriginal American stuff. But since 2016, all of this craziness has been pushed to the forefront through social media. The same way people were voter disenfranchisement happened in 2016 via the Russian bots is the same way this Dane Calloway, this remixed foolishness from Dr. York has been pushed to the forefront, undermining Pan Africanism and Black nationalism. It's like, for instance, man, right now the African Union says that there are 6 regions to Africa. The 6th region is the African diaspora. We can get passports from the African Union and get dual citizenships in any of the countries in the African Union as Africans of the diaspora. That would if we did that unmasked, right? If we did that unmasked and possibly a good section of us really invested in Africa, that would be a threat to what's going on. So instead of focusing on, you know what I'm saying, instead of putting the emphasis on that, I'm gonna throw all this ignorance and bile and unrealistic ideas in front of the people. And that's what they're gonna gravitate to because our people are not people that's gonna read these books. They're not. Unfortunately, they're not. They're not gonna research properly. They're gonna look at a 15-minute little blurb on YouTube or a video on TikTok, and they're gonna be what Daddy calls agents of non-thought of the received idea. You ever
Yep.
heard Pops use that phrase, man?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna run on autopilot off the foolishness and not even analyze it or think about it. They're gonna look at some pictures of an Olmec head and be like, you know what? That is a big nose and big lips. He's gotta be black. Black people are the real Indians, and they're not gonna think no deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to really go into the science of haplotype and genotype and phenotype and all that kind of stuff. They're just going to be like, no, man, the black man is the first man. Pangea, we walked all over the. Yeah, but there were no human beings when Pangea was around. Like, they're not going to think about that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I don't know, bro, but I mean, you're absolutely right. Uh, but here's the other part of that equation. Our brothers and sisters from Africa got to let go of some of that ignorance and foolishness as well.
Right. That's true.
I'm
That's true.
glad that you know I'm glad you got your ethnic identity and you're Nigerian and y'all the most successful immigrant goody gumdrops. But until you open your mouth, you are no different than me. And even after you open your mouth. And matter of fact,
Right.
they're gonna say that you you heard that clip from Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan talking when they recorded that phone conversation. You ever heard that clip when
No, I
Ronald
haven't
Reagan
heard
is
that.
like, yeah, these guys were dancing at the UN. Yeah. Ronald Reagan's like, yeah, these guys were dancing at the UN about some little victory, and he's like, yeah, these guys are just now getting used to wearing shoes, and how can they sit
Oh,
up in the UN with us? You know that this
oh
is the,
wow.
you know what I'm saying? Calling them monkeys. Yeah, these monkeys were dancing around. They're not even used to wearing shoes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
Yeah,
check that
man.
out though, man. When you get
I'm
a
gonna look that up, man. I gotta look that up, man.
yeah,
But
man,
yeah,
it's
man,
hilarious,
I
man.
think that's
Like,
a good point,
wow,
though.
wow.
But I think that's a valid point, though. Like, just as we dealt with the ignorance on the African American side, we got to deal with the ignorance on the immigrant side too, because you got people who think that they're better than African Americans. They think that we're just like lazy and trifling, and they have used terms like a kata to refer to African Americans and all that kind of stuff. Just buying into a lot of the racist programming that's been put out here abroad. And you got the funny thing is, like, they come to this country and reap a lot of the benefits of the struggle of African Americans, and then they show disrespect towards the people that made it possible for them to even have certain opportunities in this country. And I find that to be sickening. Like, I've heard people, like, say disrespect, like some people from the islands, for instance, say disrespectful things about African Americans. I mean, you come from a little island and you think you're better than African Americans. Like, hey, it blows my mind. Like, we're all African people. We just were dropped off at different points.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were dropped off in America. People from the same ethnic group, for instance, the same quote unquote tribe,
Same
were divided.
families.
Yeah, the same families were divided. Some went to the United States, some went to the islands, some went to South America. So we got to get over these ridiculous divisions that inhibit us and only promote the situation that we have where these white supremacists are still running things. Um, and it reminds me of what Malcolm
Man,
X
all
said.
I'll say about that is like this, man. Well, I mean, all I'll say is this is that while we're lazy, quote unquote lazy and this and that, my thing is this. There are impactors that affect our behavior. Slavery, Jim Crow, you know what I'm saying? What's y'all excuse? Y'all was colonized from what was the Berlin Conference, 1892? Y'all was colonized for about 70 years. Y'all didn't lose y'all cultural cohesion. Y'all families wasn't busted down like that. Now, especially like these Nigerians. Hey, y'all sitting on oil reserves like Saudi Arabia, but the average person in Nigeria lives off less than $5 a day. So who's really lazy? So my thing is like this: is that you sitting there in paradise, Al Cable Line, the Garden of Eden, and you still ain't got a damn thing. But then you bring up colonialism that lasted 70 years compared to the hundreds of years of chattel slavery, the 100 years of Jim Crow, and we've been free for 5 years before you was born. And then people looking at us like we've accomplished more than any individual African ethnic group on this planet.
Mm.
We are like David standing in front of Goliath with a little rock that
Mm.
brought down legalized systematic discrimination. So y'all need to get in line. But we gotta look. I like fighting. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm fighting the enemy, I'm coming like these with a solid fist. With that's lined up even, because I'm trying to strike this strongest blow. I can't come at him like this trying to slap when my man got guns and boxing gloves on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, get rid of that foolishness. But I digress, black man. I can go on a tangent now. You know what I'm
Yeah, so
saying?
the
But
other thing I wanted to touch on, like when we were talking about, like what we started to talk about was like, that video that I did where I was talking about how gangs are worse than the KKK. Uh, and the thing that inspired
mm-hmm.
me to really do that video is like I heard all these people saying, yeah, well, he should have came. That killer wouldn't don't had a heart to come to the hood, and deal with the gangs or rough neighborhoods and stuff like that. And as I was thinking about it, it was like I understand why they're saying that, but when you look at it realistically, literally the gangs are doing the work of white supremacists for them. Like, even though like we can talk about like why people join gangs, we can talk about the social economic issues that create gangs and create the violence and encourage people to sell drugs and stuff like that. But it's like when we look at the scale of the violence that our people face in this country, more of it is coming from drug dealers and from gangs. And the thing is, like the other thing that prompted me to do this, to talk about this, was that post that Ti put up in response to the indictment of Young Thug and Gunner, as a part of a RICO case. He was like, why hasn't a RICO case been brought against the Klan? And I was like, yeah, that's a valid point. There should be RICO cases brought against these white supremacist groups. But the thing is, like, really, that's a deflection. It's a way to defend, people like Gunner and people like Young Thug, when the fact of the matter is these gangs are responsible for more violence than these white supremacists. Like these in modern times, I'm talking about modern times. I'm not talking about back at the height of the Klan. In modern times, the gangs are killing more black people than these white supremacists. When you hear about these killings done by these white supremacists, they're not, like, I won't say that they're rare, but they're nowhere near as frequent as the killings in black communities at the hands of these gangs. Like that incident, and this is not to take away from what has happened in Buffalo or the importance of it. I believe that, we need to deal with racism and we need to deal with these white supremacists. And I hope that that guy is sentenced, I don't think that they had a death penalty, but I think I want him to get the harshest punishment possible for what he did. But when you look at the violence that takes place, like 10 people were killed there. Every other weekend in a city like Baltimore, for instance, you will have 10 people shot over the weekend. In places like Chicago, you will have over 10 people shot over the weekend. In a place like even New York City, now with this increased crime, you will have many people shot over the weekend. And the numbers don't lie. Like, I mean, we know that most groups of people commit violence amongst themselves. Usually it's not violence between other groups. So, like, I was looking at crime statistics, according to the FBI records, and they were saying, like, for 2019, uh, there were 2,906 black homicide victims. And the overwhelming majority of the offenders were other black people and stuff like that. So, I brought attention to that issue, and somebody had the nerve to say that was a sellout for bringing that, or I sounded like a sellout for bringing that issue. And it's like, who's the biggest sellout? The gang that's selling the drugs to the community, the gang that is killing black men and black women, and innocent bystanders as well, or somebody speaking out against that kind of stuff. The sad thing is, we glorify that stuff. It's glorified in the music. It's glorified on television. Women glorify these people that sell drugs. Some women do. They prefer the drug dealer. I've seen videos here on TikTok where you got women talking about they prefer a drug dealer or a scammer over a 9 to 5 hardworking man. So yeah, oh, I see a stare left, but hopefully he'll be able to join back. But yeah, those are some of the things that we're talking about here. So let me try to send an invite. Okay, so I sent him an invite. He should be back. Oh, there
Hey,
you
my
go.
yeah, my bad, big bro. I don't know what was going on up in this boy, man. The man watching us, brother. The man watching us. Like, no. But no.
Conspiracy.
So, hey, I'm gonna tell you something crazy, kind of to piggyback on what you were saying. King Von. Now, you said my man Buddy killed 10 people at the grocery store, right? King Von got like 6 bodies that he was bragging about on all of them songs. And
Mm,
I like the man music, but the man was damn near a serial killer.
mm,
And there's many serial killers in the damn ghetto. I got a friend, I never say his name, but this guy is Scando. Scando. Like for real Scando. Like, wow. And the fact of the matter is that is celebrated.
mm.
And a lot of times people want to emulate it.
That's
But
right.
you a
Yeah.
sellout.
Mm.
And I'm
Yeah,
a
that's the funny thing. The funny thing is, like that guy that actually called me a sellout. I went to his page. I was like, okay, let me just check out to see what this guy's about who left this comment. And I see that he's like an aspiring rap artist. And I see him all in his videos, like throwing up all these signs and stuff like that. So I'm like, so I was like, I asked him, I said, so do you rap about gangs and drug dealing? And he said, yeah, I can't deny it. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, how are you calling me a sellout when literally you are like the modern day Sambo? You are literally like the modern day blackface because you are putting on, promoting these stereotypes of black people, promoting the stereotype of the violent, ignorant thug, Negro, or nigger, as people like to say. That's what you're promoting. You're promoting drug dealing. I mean, like, we are living in a time where it is cool to literally not only sell drugs, but to be a junkie. That's what people sing about, being dope fiends, drinking codeine, And I actually saw this one post on one of these hip hop sites where this rap artist is actually taking heroin during one of his videos for the first time, like to create controversy and buzz. He's literally injecting heroin into his arm in his video. This is what's being promoted. That is even worse than the clownish, buffoonish blackface images that they used to show back in the day. Because that just made a caricature of black people. That just like made jokes about black people and showed, black people as like clowns and buffoons. But these images that they're showing of black people are destructive. They are promoting negative stereotypes. So it's no wonder when police roll up on black people, they view us as, these violent animals and stuff like that, because that's the message that's being promoted. And we were talking about the immigrants and how they view African Americans. When that is the image of the thug and the drug dealer and all that kind of stuff, when that's the image of the Black American, it's no wonder that immigrants want to be disassociated from the Black American. So I mean, it's like you are literally like the like those images that were promoted during that movie Birth of a Nation, where they showed the black man as some kind of criminal savage. That is the image that these people are promoting. That's the image that's presented out here for black people. And sadly, this young man is one of these people promoting that image without realizing that he's selling out, that he's literally what he claims that I am. Because the thing is, like, that image is presented as cool by the society. It's presented as like macho, and that's the real man and all that kind of stuff, man. And it's so sad.
Hey man, listen. So you probably have heard this before, but in the nation, in the Supreme Wisdom lessons, there's a lesson called English Lesson C1. You ever heard of that? You probably have
Yeah, I
heard
have
me
heard
quote
that.
it a
Yeah.
million times. My name is W.F. Muhammad. I came here by myself. My uncle was brought here 370 years ago. He does not know that he is my uncle. So on and so forth. He loves the devil because the devil gives him nothing. And the thing is that um, we, it's some of our people are dead weight, and they not gonna be for the revolution. You know, and I'm talking about the revolution of the mind. Just to
Mm-hmm.
clarify for Big Brother that's watching, I'm talking about the revolution of the mind. Now, my thing is like these agents of non thought of the received idea of white supremacy that act in the character of and the mission of white supremacy. We don't got time to waste on them. You want to date outside the race and dilute the power? Go ahead. Get the hell on. You want to live in la la land of post racial society? Get the hell on. You want to participate in self destructive, self perpetuated genocide? Get the hell on. Because when it all comes down to it, you are acting. Remember that movie, The Matrix? How
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people that was stuck in the Matrix at any given time, the agent could download into them and they would be acting in the will and interest of the machines.
Mm-hmm.
That's who those people are. And I don't
Mm,
even waste my time debating them kind of people. I'm
mm,
not Jesus. I'm not trying to save the lost. I'm talking to the people that's found. I'll
mm.
try to shed some light to you, but I'm not losing no sleep, damn it, if you ain't listening. So it's like this, man. I, nah, I'm real.
Yeah, I feel
You
you,
know,
dude.
for those people that don't know, these right here, these are my ministerial credentials. And I bring that up just to say that, yeah, I got love for all humanity, but I'm about to change. And it becomes at a certain time that we just uh, give the people the message and say, take it or let it alone. But I'm not losing no sleep, damn it. Because that guy right there, you know, the truth of the matter is that now I looked at Buddy, went to Buddy's page. You ain't gonna make no damn money with that music. When it's all said and done, when it's all said and done, brother, when it's all said and done, you done sold your soul and tried to inflict harm to your own people for nothing, for a little
Mm,
bit of internet clout. Cause see, the fact of the matter is that these young people don't realize 20 years passed that fast.
that's
Yesterday, I
right.
was in my 20s, baby. Right now, I'm knocking on 50's door, baby. So I'm saying it's like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? One day
that's
you're gonna be
real.
an old man and look back at that foolishness, and the question's gonna come to you: Did I help build up the people, or was I tearing them down? And the fact of
Mm,
the matter is that if you was tearing them down, you was doing the work of the enemy. And
mm,
by the time you in our age range, just little did you could do to undo the damage you have done. So the
mm.
thing is like, go ahead with that whack ass music. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hey, man, if you didn't know, I'm protective of you, brother, big brother. You know what I'm saying? You one of my heroes out here. So when I saw that, I'm like, man, you know, I had to tell Buddy, like, yeah, me and my brother, we educated and all this stuff, but damn it, we grew up in the projects of Highland Park, Michigan, at the height of the crack epidemic. Like you, The amount of courage and heart that you got in your little fingernail just to not get caught up in the traps of the YBI and the Chambers brothers and best friends and Pony Down and all that stuff that was happening
Yeah,
in
I remember
Detroit.
all that stuff.
The
Yeah.
the courage you got in your fingernail could lift up a mountain. So it's
Mm,
like for anybody to say anything about your character it's an affront, and I ain't going for it. So I'm saying like these is like, man, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead with these weak men. There's a jail cell waiting for you. Go ahead with your caricature of black manhood. This macho foolishness. There's a casket, a premature
mm.
casket waiting for you.
That's right.
So my thing is this: each one teach one, and if they won't listen, like Jesus said, shake the dust from your feet. I don't got time to be losing my hair that's already thinning, trying to save some damn fool that's got his mind set on destruction. Go
Mm.
ahead, brother. Go ahead. The white man has built a whole economic system and paradigm for people like you.
Mm.
It's called
That's
a pipeline to prison. So
mm.
get online because you on the way to the pipeline. Now,
Mm.
if you trying to build up and be more than that, and you just gonna use the negativity, understand that yeah, you as one individual might get that stuff. Just look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z spent close to 20 years encouraging people to be dope boys. And he got rich, became a billionaire off that. That music he make now is nowhere near as of the quality of what he made back then, right? He ain't reaching the people with all of this invest in stocks and buy appreciable assets. He's not reaching the people like he was when he's talking about Chloe glasses and taking pills and having menages with the sisters and all of that. He's not reaching the people like that. He's not leaving that same indelible impact. He spent his good years destroying the
Mm.
mentality of the people.
Mm.
And now you the old bull that ain't got no energy trying to talk about something positive. But you still a sellout because you see what he did with Kaepernick, right? Oh, we beyond kneeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my thing is I'm telling you, the control revolutionary is the worst kind of Uncle Tom. Because
Mm.
he's gonna take that fervor and energy of the people that's ready to catalyze change. He's gonna take that energy and siphon it into some BS.
That's
You know
some
what I'm
real
saying?
talk right there, man. And you could write a whole book just on how that happens, man. Yeah, man,
But I
that's
do
deep.
need to jump off here, man. I see you yawning
Yeah, I
there,
wanted
old
to ask you
fella.
one other thing. I wanted to
What
ask you
up?
one thing
What
real
up,
quick
though?
before we go, like about Kevin Samuels, man. You know that he passed away. Like, what do
Yeah.
you think about his legacy and stuff, man? And what people are
I think
saying, like, what you think about the women that's clowning him after he died? Like, I told you, like,
those
this one lady's like, I'm still living though, like, like she was playing his music, like, I'm still living though, like, and he's dead, but she's still living.
I'm
So,
still living though. I'm still living though. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of those. I mean, listen, I understand, but only a dog that's if I throw a rock, the only dog that's gonna yell out is the one that was hit.
yeah, that's true.
But I have a
And you saw
problem with
that? Did you see that Vivica Fox, like where Vivica Fox was going off, like saying he was nasty and blah blah blah, and all that kind of stuff, like talking about him
but
too, like right after he
here's the
passed
real
away.
question. Does that negate the truth to some of what the man had to say?
Mm.
No. No. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, I have a major problem with a lot of the things that Kevin Samuels said. I want to say 95% of I don't believe there is a such thing as a high value man just based off of his annual income. That's
Mm.
number one. And then beyond that is all of these. I call them the micro penis crowd, the alpha male crowd, talking all this craziness. Man, listen, man. If we got an abundance of single mothers, if we have an abundance of single mothers, and a bunch of men that aren't married, and absentee fathers, why wouldn't me? Look, it's like, look, man. why are you if you grew up without a damn father in your household, why would you have a problem with dating a woman that has children, man? You know what I'm saying? Like that's on this selfish Neanderthal stuff, and it's like at the same time there was a level of reality, truth to what he was saying about unrealistic expectations. But a woman is not. I'm like, man, Kevin Samuels is not talking to people that live in the ghetto. He's not. He's talking to people. He's not talking to most black people.
Right, because he, first of all, that
you know.
whole high value man standard that he has, like most black men don't meet that standard that he's talking about, like of having all this money and making all, like he's talking about like people that earn like 50, I mean, 500,000 or more per year, and that's like a small minority of black men that earn that kind of money. And then, like, why is that the focus? Like, one of the things that is interesting is like how he shows, like he has shown that like a lot of these women had these unrealistic expectations. Like that's the only kind of man that they want. Is one of these high value men. It's like I think that that's missing like the bigger picture that deals with more average everyday people. Like why not talk about building relationships between just the average person instead of focusing solely on this so-called high value man, and like your value shouldn't be based on just on how much you earn, because there are plenty of low value people with high value dollars and stuff. So yeah, I mean there's a lot
Plenty.
of
We
things
just
to
got
say.
finished talking about them. These damn dope boys got a whole bunch of discretionary income to spend on stuff and lavish lifestyles and all of that stuff, but they have most of them, many of them got no moral character, no moral compass. Now I got nieces. Hey, you my brother. You know what I'm saying? I got nieces. We got
Mhm.
female cousins, and I'll be damned. We got a sister. I'll be damned if some man, uh, just because he makes a certain salary, thinks that he could talk crazy to my nieces. Nigga, I'll
Mhm.
break your damn jaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, like, man, it's like, listen, man, having money, like you and I are educated black men. We fit in the top 10% of black men. You and I. You know what I'm saying? That don't make me no better than a man with the same moral character and fiber that makes less than what I make. Now,
Right.
he also said in his thing, like the average black man makes $42,000 a year. So by default, Kevin Samuels was saying the average black man has no value. And I'm
Mm.
not with that. And and,
Right.
and it's like, look, it's like he told me, oh, what's your dress size? What's your dress size? And all of this stuff. And I'm like, look, I go to the gym down there every day. And I have a great physique and all of that kind of stuff. But the average brother out here, fat as hell, that's my age. And I'm saying like this is it's like, man, you don't want nobody ranking your value based off of how big your damn stomach is when the facts of of biology say that for every inch to your stomach or every 2 inches to your stomach, it's taking an inch away from your hammer. So now, you know what I'm saying? You better get in the game, damn it. You know what I'm saying? plus, plus, I'm saying this, like, man, if you're not a backbreaker, man, you know what I'm saying, with all respect and love. If you're not a
Yeah, and I know
backbreaker,
you
you
see
better
that
put some
clip.
respect on these women's name.
Yeah, man. And then, like, I mean, with no disrespect, like some of the things Kevin Samuels said and the way I mean, I don't know if he was gay or nothing like that. I can't say. But he just, some of the stuff was a little suspect, like him asking some guy, like, his penis size and all that kind of stuff. And the
Man,
person,
man, come on, man. Come on, man. You know what I
because
mean?
I
Come
know you
on,
see
dog.
that clip. I
Man, I
know you
saw
see
that,
that.
man. I just like, man, I'm not, listen, man, I'm not asking no man that, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'm just like this. Listen, man. Listen. I like gear and all that. But it's like, listen, man. It's like my opinion about maybe it's skewed from having been in the Nation of Islam, but the fact of the matter is that part of what's damaging men in these romantic situations and women are the unrealistic fantasies that society tells us. Like all of the brothers out here looking for some nasty freak this also, some educated, virtuous woman, but she's gonna have threesomes with you, and she doesn't care if you cheat and all. And it's like, man, that's unrealistic as hell. And then a lot of the sisters out here looking for, what I'm saying, the man is, what I'm saying, hook up running past his kneecaps. You know what I'm saying? He got street cred. He goes to church. He's got education and a good job, but at the same time, he's a killer. I'm just like, man, come on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here.
Yeah,
But why
man.
are we? Here's the real question. Some of these notebooks over here are my notebooks from college. There's a marketing. Marketing is a very important class to take. I don't care what your major is. It's a couple of classes I would say that everybody should take: anthropology, world history, and also a marketing class. And you will realize how these people play with our minds all day, every day, to get us to buy stuff.
Mm.
And listen, having us feuding with each other is profitable as hell. I can start a podcast bashing women, and I'm gonna get money off that. I can write a book bashing men and make movies bashing men. I got a jail cell waiting for your son that's caught in a cycle of perpetual poverty because he's statistically raised by, statistically a single parent household is more likely to be poor, son's more likely to be in jail, the daughter's more likely to perpetuate the cycle of single motherhood, keeping this foolish, that all that stuff is profitable. So we are marketed things that help perpetuate behaviors that will help the machine of capitalism keep going. And
Mm.
and and it's like men like Kevin Samuels play into these angry dudes that have been rejected by men, by women. And I'll tell you something crazy. I hate to sound like a conspiracy nut, but most of that crowd are these black Trump supporters. I don't give a damn. That alpha male crowd, all that. Most of these guys are these Trump guys, man. And see, there's don't get it wrong. I believe in the authority and strength of manhood, right? But there's a difference between that and talking this alpha male stuff. I saw these two guys talking on one of their things about this alpha man thing, and their whole thing was, hey, if you're gonna be a strong man, you just gotta not care. Man, are you not a human being? You don't have no feelings no more because you got testicles in the penis. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's manhood to have no emotions. Now, a man needs to control his feelings, but to not care. This
Mhm.
hat right here doesn't have feelings. I got feelings. My dogs got feelings. But you as a man, a human male, you're not supposed to have no feelings? That's ridiculous as hell. That's ridiculous. A lot of these guys have some serious issues going on with how they see women. And if you ask me, all of that goes back to their disconnect from understanding what a real man is and what leadership really is. And it's profitable to push that foolishness out.
Yeah, man, we gotta build like we gotta do another one of these, man. Like one, we gotta focus, like do one about relationships or something like that. That'd be real interesting and talk
Hold on,
about
hold
like
on. Hold on. The real one said, I disagree. I think Canvas Samuels told the harsh truth. Canvas Samuels was hated because people saw short viral clips and didn't. I watched that bullshit real one, and I'm telling you, no, no, you cannot use the oppressor's standards as a beating stick for the oppressed. The fact of the matter is that the economic paradigm of this nation is not built so that everybody can be prosperous and wealthy. And it's also built with the fact in mind that there must be a permanent class of exploited people, workers, and consumers. Those are facts. You cannot be a high value man if you're just a worker. I mean, man, dudes looked up to their father, looked up to because their fathers weren't parent. Scheherazade Ali, it's a different case, brother. Scheherazade Ali would also go along with several other things. Now, listen, y'all like to uh, uh, pick and choose what y'all go with from these people. Scheherazade Ali, I respect and understand because I was also in the Nation of Islam. But remember, This sister encouraged men to slap women. Now, brother, I do about 400 push-ups a day. If I slap a woman, I'm gonna break her damn jaw. Now, that ain't no advice to be taken. And do y'all make six figures or more? With respect, do y'all make that? Are you the high value man? Because Kevin Samuel's opinion about men who weren't high value men wasn't too positive. So, let me know. But anyhow, big bro, yes, we
Yeah.
got to definitely do this, man.
Yeah, because we could
Definitely,
talk a
man.
long time just about the Kevin Samuels. Like
And
there's a lot that we could talk about. Like we need to set aside like a day every week to have these sessions, like on your channel and then on mine. We'll figure it out, man. But this was a great discussion. I want to encourage everybody to follow my brother's page. Tell them the name of your page again, man.
Oh, my page is Brother Minister Speaks. And to answer your question, Dark Shark, it's sets of 40, 10 sets of 40 between my pull-ups, my dips, and my crunches and ab exercises. You understand what I'm saying? Every day. Got to keep that heart good. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep that heart good. 1 meal a day. 1 meal a day. Been doing that over 30 years. No alcohol, no pork, no corn, no nuts, limiting like collard greens and stuff like that, but 1 meal a day between about noon and 5 p.m. If you eat after that, go on a total fast the next day. Mainly water, tea, limited alcohol. Anyhow, man, big bro, love you. God bless. I'm about to get on off air though.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace, peace, man.